My name is Andres Valenzuela, and here's my audience member. So, the topic I chose for my informative speech is why COVID-19 had a greater impact on the people with the immigrant status. So, coming from a small town named Kerman, obviously, which is located in California, where 95% of the population are immigrants who typically work in field labor jobs. It is definitely very sad to know what they are going through with everything going on and what they're going to continue to go through till this pandemic is over. First, I'm going to start by saying how this topic hit close to home with my parents working in the fields for a very long time. Wasn't as bad then for all the years that they have worked in it. Wasn't as bad till this pandemic hit. He tells us every time he goes to work that the conditions are terrible. He wouldn't want anyone else to go through the same things that all the field workers have to go through. Definitely sucks. I too have been working in the fields. I recently stopped while this pandemic is going on. I mean, they don't really care for your safety, I could say, because they don't really tell you that you should wear a mask or that you need a social distance. I'm not going to say that's for every job in the field. I mean, it just depends, because we have had some bosses that recommend you wearing and tell you and advise you to wear a mask, which is very good. But sometimes, I mean, like I said, they don't always ask you to wear the mask or do the social distancing type of rule. And, okay, in addition to the unsafe work conditions the field workers have also deal with, they have very hazardous pesticides out there. They are sprayed daily throughout the day, mainly when planting season's coming around, which is very bad. Those pesticides can cause many fatal diseases to the human body. Many field workers suffer from respiratory, kidney, and cardiac diseases from being exposed to these pesticides. I mean, gladly when I was out there, I was picking, so I didn't really have to deal with these pesticides on a daily basis. I mean, from around there was always different types of things, so some days we were exposed, but they're from further lengths and types of things. If you thought these things couldn't get worse for these people out there in the field, let me say that it could definitely get worse, because not only do they have to deal with the pesticides and the unsafe work conditions, they have to go to work and do back-breaking work daily. They go out there, I'm just going to have to say, they bust their ass off out there. And to come back to home and get denied benefits such as like stimulus checks, which were supposed to help many people who weren't working or help their kids get like extra money, it definitely sucks for them. Like, because many people who weren't working definitely relied on that stimulus check. They needed that money to pay for their food, bills, anything that really came their way. And for many of these people out there in the fields, definitely, they come out back home, they have to feed kids, put them through school, buy them many things that, I mean, that you would want to buy your kid to make them have a good life. Not only was a stimulus check a bad thing for them, but having to deal with the coronavirus, this pandemic, they have to come home and have to pay for healthcare, which isn't cheap. They come home and have to deal with this, which sucks. I bet you they're having a stressful time. And that's what, like I said, the stimulus check is what kept many of these people afloat. And it just sucks to know that they have to go through this. But hopefully, with due time, this all gets better for all of us. And it just ends. We hope this pandemic ends fast. I got many of my work cited from many different websites. One was from Worse. It was an article from Mary Claire. She wrote this in August 5th, 2020. It was called COVID-19 is Worse for Immigrants. Another article I used was The Immigrants, the Economy, and the COVID Outbreak. It was written by Don Beyer in August 10th of 2020. And this completes my speech.